Hello, and welcome back to The Exchange, where we share real stories, highlight real people, and explore real purpose. I'm Ruby Jones, and I'm excited to welcome you to today's interview featuring actor Matthew Bryan Feld and our discussion about one of the most celebrated works in American theater, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, by the legendary playwright Tennessee Williams. First debuting on Broadway in 1955, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof explores the complex dynamics of family, truth, desire, and legacy in the American South. The story is set in the sweltering heat of Mississippi and tells the tale of the Pollitt family, led by a wealthy and domineering patriarch. It's a timeless, emotionally charged piece that continues to resonate among audiences everywhere nearly 70 years after it was first performed. Denver Center for the Performing Arts is bringing this classic to life right here in the Mile High City, with performances running now through November 2nd at the Kilstrom Theatre. In this special conversation, I had the chance to sit down with Matthew, who plays Gooper, the ambitious and often overlooked son of Big Daddy. We talked about themes of inheritance, honesty, and the enduring power of Williams' storytelling, as well as what it means to perform this iconic play for Denver audiences today. Check out this trailer for the play, followed by my conversation with Matthew.
On a sweltering Mississippi night, the Pollitt family gathers to celebrate Big Daddy's birthday. But beneath the surface, secrets simmer and rivalries boil over. Maggie fights to save her marriage. Brick drinks to forget. And the truth? It's about to explode. Raw, riveting, unforgettable. Don't miss Tennessee Williams' Pulitzer Prize-winning Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Playing October 3rd through November 2nd. Tickets at denvercenter.org.
Cat on a Hot Tin Roof is a Pulitzer Prize-winning production and an American classic by Tennessee Williams, who has written amazing plays like A Streetcar Named Desire, and he's just this renowned, acclaimed, creative mastermind.
Yeah.
So for those who aren't familiar, what is this play about?
Well, it takes place in 1955 in Mississippi, and we follow the Pollitt family over the span of a day, celebrating the 65th birthday of Big Daddy, who is basically, the center of the Pollitt family. And we find out that he's dying of cancer and how the family deals with that, how everybody comes to terms with that, how Big Daddy comes to terms with that, and also at what point that information actually is revealed. So yeah, and then tensions just pretty much rising throughout the entire play over, the contested inheritance of Big Daddy. Big Daddy's very rich man, and he says it a lot throughout the entire play. He has 28,000 acres, 28,000 acre plantation that they all live on. And then also he mentions too that he says he's a rich man to Brick, and he says, guess how much I'm worth? And he says $10 million, which back in 1955 was a lot more than just $10 million. So you have that, and also the 28,000 acre plantation, which is really difficult to kind of grasp. It's kind of the size of a state. So yeah, a lot of things to unfold. And if you're anybody who knows Tennessee Williams's work, you know that you're going to deal with a very deep and often dark story that is very raw and vulnerable and heavy. So yeah.
It sounds like a big one. I
Yeah.
can't imagine having that much land in, rural Mississippi and being worth that much money at that
Yeah.
time. So tell me about your role as Gooper and the role that you play within the Pollitt family.
Yeah, I'm the eldest son. I play Gooper. He's the eldest son. It's him and Brick. Brick's the younger boy who is basically the favorite, you know. And we kind of deal through that relationship throughout the entire play. On paper, Gooper is pretty much, he's checked off all the boxes. He's responsible. He's looked after the estate, when Big Daddy gets sick, although he never gets any credit or love and respect for it. But he just does it. because he's responsible. And I think because he's always kind of desired that love and respect from his, mainly Big Daddy, but also Big Mama and everybody else in the family. But Brick is the favorite. And even though Brick is throwing his life away, and is a alcoholic, and has basically no direction, in his life, he's still the favorite one. And Big Daddy throughout the entire play is basically looking for any excuse to hand over his inheritance to Brick because he can't stand Gooper and Gooper's wife, May. I mean, also Gooper, I mentioned he's responsible. He has, 5 children with a very faithful, loving wife, May. And they have one on the way. So he's a corporation lawyer. Yeah, he's very responsible and mature, and he's got his stuff together. Um, but I know, kind of hard to compete with the favorite son. When you're the favorite son, you
Yeah.
can pretty much get away with anything. So,
Well, it sounds like maybe he just reminds him of himself a little bit. So, how you talked about some themes of just like darkness and really deep storylines, and even talking about alcoholism. And when you're talking about playing favorites, what are some of the other kind of underlying storylines that we'll see within the play? Because
yeah, I mean,
that sounds deep.
yeah, I mean, again, with Tennessee Williams, he's just such a brilliant playwright. Uh, one of the main things I love about him and geniuses like him is that you can study his work for centuries and still find new things. It's just so layered. Themes jump in and out throughout the entire play. Themes like lust and desire, lust versus desire, the decay of the American dream. I mean, Brick is a perfect example of that. He was a huge football star in high school, and we opened the play finding out that he broke his ankle, um, because he was drunk the night before jumping hurdles at his high school athletic field. So, yeah, clearly the decay of the American dream is a big one. I would say homosexuality as well. Um, and then also probably the biggest one that we talk about throughout the entire play is this word mendacity, that Rick mentions to Big Daddy, and Big Daddy asks, "Oh, is that liars and liar? I mean, someone lying to you?" So basically, lies and deception versus truth. So that's, I would say, a big, big, big one.
I can't imagine as an actor having to juggle all of these themes and, portray this character who is pretty much being ousted by his father and just like not being treated well.
Yeah.
How do you manage juggling all those emotions every night to bring this character to life?
You know, I think that I just bring all of my experiences, all of my life experiences to it. You prepare for this, so it's not something you just kind of show up and do. Um, Although there is part of that as well, but I like to do extensive research, and I like to come as prepared as I possibly can before first day of rehearsals. Also, when I'm working, I'm in show mode. I have a very strict diet plan, a very strict exercise routine. I love my downtime. I love to read when I have time, and I love to continue researching and finding new things with Gooper and with this play. Um, Chris and Grady over at DCPA, Chris Coleman and Grady Soaps, did such an incredible job putting this group together. When you show up first day rehearsals and everybody you look around, you really kind of love and respect on a human level, and then also on a, actor talent and all that stuff level. It really, when you gel with the other actors, it makes the play come to life even more. And rest. Sleep is a big thing too. If I don't get my rest, then I'm a little jittery. And then my coffee, I gotta have my coffee. I have my coffee in the morning, and I have my coffee in the afternoon. So,
Okay, well, I just heard how you said coffee. So where are you from?
uh, well, okay. So my whole family's from New York.
Gotcha.
And I don't like to publicize where I was born and raised because it's Florida. I was born in West Palm Beach, Florida, but my whole family's from New York. So I've been back and forth from New York, since I was a kid, and I've been living in New York. Been a New Yorker for over 20 years now. So, but my wife is an eighth generation Californian. So, we first met when we were on different sides of the coast, and now we're bi-coastal. We're back and forth from New York and LA, and our son is in first grade, a block away from where we live. So it's really
Oh,
convenient.
nice. Living the dream, that
That's
bi-coastal
right. Amen.
Yeah. Well, I heard the New York in your coffee, so I had
Yeah.
that.
It comes out when I get loud. The Jew New Yorker of me comes out really hard when I get passionate about something when I get loud.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
It would have to. Well, you talked a little bit about your career, and you've done work in musicals, contemporary plays, you've done television acting, and you won a Henry Award for Best Supporting Actor. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, and that was for your role in Rattlesnake Kate. That was here at DCPA, and so I know that you're excited to return. What is it about here in Denver and at the Denver Center for Performing Arts that makes you excited and that keeps you coming back?
Well, again, I think, Chris Coleman and Grady Soaps and everybody at DCPA just have created such an incredible environment, for actors. I was telling Chris the first week I was back that whenever I work with him, the experience that I have creates so many wonderful moments of euphoria and nirvana for me personally. And it's a very palpable thing, tangible thing that I can feel. And it's an energy, and it happens every time that I work with Chris. And I've worked with Chris in different theaters as well. But it's the environment that he has created, that they've created at DCPA, that I just truly, truly love. And, this whole concept too, I love how, some people think like just because we're doing a play that there's no music involved, like it's not musical. When it's quite the opposite, especially when you're dealing with Tennessee Williams, because of his language and because of his brilliance, it's the most musical. And that's without the dialect that you're dealing with of Mississippi. We've had such a wonderful time working with Elisa Carlson on dialect. She's just been incredible. But that dialect in and of itself is incredibly musical. But then when you just take Tennessee Williams and his language aside alone, it is very musical. So everything kind of helps, everything. It reminds me of some of my favorite musicians and some of my favorite actor, writer, directors, like Bradley Cooper or like Jason Bateman or Sean Penn, people who are incredible directors, incredible actors, incredible writers. So if they're directing a movie and they have a vision, they know how to communicate with the actors. They know how to communicate with the writers because they are themselves a writer and an actor and a director. So, with more knowledge comes wisdom and the ability to communicate more clearly, to ultimately create, the vision that you have for the particular project that you're working on. I think it's the same thing with one of my favorite musicians of all time, Stevie Wonder. Like one of the reasons why he's so brilliant, one of the many reasons why he's so brilliant, is because when he's writing a song, for example, he's not just writing lyrics. He's not just writing a melody.
Right.
He plays every instrument, so he can, you know, um, develop his composition within his head and in his incredible ears. He knows what the bass is gonna play. He knows what the drums need to do. He knows if he needs a horn section, what horns he's gonna have and the arrangement and what they're gonna play. I think that the more I think it just, it brings more wisdom and more clarity to um, able to communicate your vision and ultimately manifest that. So,
That is an extraordinary take, and I've never really heard it laid out quite that way, but it makes a lot of sense, and it makes me think that you are going to be an extremely great director and producer or whatever else it is you're combining with acting because to bring that insight to your work and to understand how the workings of the behind the scenes can really help you perform on stage. That makes me even more excited to see Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Oh, I can't wait for you to see it. We open on the 10th and we close on the 2nd of November. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, break a leg. I'm excited and I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I appreciate you taking the time to share with me. I think the audience will really love it.
Thank you so much, Ruby. It was a pleasure.
Thank you again for watching, and thank you to Matthew for sharing his perspective and a special sneak peek with The Exchange. For tickets to see Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, playing now through November 2nd, visit denvercenter.org. I would love to know what you think about the play, so after you attend, please drop a comment below or send a community review to podcast@empowermediaexchange.org. For more real stories, real people, and real purpose, like this video and subscribe. I'll see you next time.